They had me in handcuffs built for Halloween costumes and authority built for Facebook groups. 3SU boxed me in on the gravel drive of Cedaline Lake Ranch, cheap Amazon light bars strobing, spotlight dragging across the barn like we were filming, a low-budget cop show for people in navy polos and tactical khakis with plastic badges, clipped to duty belts aimed in my direction. Marcus Bell, you are under arrest for multiple violations of Lakeview Shores Community Code, declared the woman up front, voice shaking from adrenaline and diet soda. Behind her, all 4 war-matching patches labeled Lakeview Shores Community Compliance Patrol. They'd hauled me away from cleaning a fishing net. Boots half-lessed, t-shirt reading, I paused my investigation for this. The irony in hindsight was thick. Turn around and face the vehicle, the leader barked, placing a hand on my elbow like she'd practiced in training videos that never existed. On what authority? I asked, more drained than afraid. She whipped out a badge wallet with a goldish shield that wouldn't pass muster at Spirit Halloween. On the authority of the Lakeview Shores Homeowners Association and our Memorandum of Understanding with local law enforcement. Wow, I said. You printed that at Kinko's. Her jaw locked. We are deputized community partners. The squeal of actual tires cut her off. The county sheriff's Tahoe pulled in behind them. Flashers, just slow, steady inevitability. Deputy Ramirez stepped out, one hand resting near his very real sidearm, eyes tracking from their fake badges to my plastic cuffs. Afternoon, folks, he said. We got a call about an attempted citizen's arrest and possible impersonation of law enforcement. It's not impersonation, the woman snapped. We are operational partners. That was when I sighed, twisted my wrists, and snapped the cheap cuffs like stubborn zip ties. 4 HOA officers jumped. I reached into my back pocket, flipped open my own ID wallet, and handed it to Ramirez. Marcus Bell, the deputy read slowly. His eyebrows climbed. Senior Special Agent, United States Department of Justice, Office of Inspector General. He looked at the HOA woman. Ma'am, he said carefully, I'm going to need you to set your toy badge on the hood and step away very, very slowly. 6 months before the cosplay arrest attempt, life was simple. I'm Marcus Bell, 37, professional introvert and federal paper chaser. My day job, hunting fraud and abuse in federal grants. Basically, I spend hours staring at spreadsheets and catching people who can't resist skimming. I work remote most days, which is why I bought Cedaline Lake Ranch, acres of scrub pines. A weathered barn and 200 feet of shoreline on Lake Cedaline. It's just outside Lakeview Shores, a master-planned lake lifestyle subdivision. Key detail, my ranch is not in the HOA. It predates the subdivision by 40 years. My deed is older than half the board members. My zoning is agricultural, residential. I have a dock grandfathered in that matches none of their glossy brochures. My idea of heaven, early morning kayak on a glass lake, to rescue dogs Moose and Pixels sleeping on the porch, and an inbox full of boring fraud instead of neighbors. The HOA president, Meredith Dobson of Lakeview Shores, saw something else. From her deck across the cove, my place was a personal offense. Her world was identical grand white farmhouses. Dock lights had approved warm white paddleboards racked at precise 90 angles. My world was an old red barn with a crooked weather vane, a string of mismatched Edison bulbs over the dock, and a rusted aluminum fishing boat offending their curated kayak aesthetic. Meredith lived for rules. She carried the HOA bylaws in a leather binder and quoted them like scripture. She used phrases like curated shoreline experience and view corridor integrity without flinching. So when a quiet guy with a ranch, a non-approved dock color, and 0 HOA obligations moved in, she decided I was a jurisdictional error waiting to be corrected. The first contact came via mail. Notice of Lakefront Property Compliance Review. Dear neighbor, as a shoreline property owner within the Lakeview Shores visual envelope, it rambled on about unauthorized watercraft, non-standard lighting, and livestock adjacency concerns. They wanted dock color samples and a shoreline landscaping plan. I wrote back on plain printer paper, I am not a member of Lakeview Shores HOA. My property is zoned agricultural, residential. Your rules do not apply here. Signed, Marcus. I figured that was the end of it. Meredith saw it as Phase 1 resistance. Phase 2 kicked off with complaints to the county zoning board. Unscreened agricultural equipment and offensive barn structure. Then to state environmental officials. Potential fuel spills from an old boat docked near HOA swimmable waters. Then to animal control. Possible noise and waste issues from livestock. I didn't own livestock. I had 2 goats for brush clearing and 3 chickens with better diplomacy skills than most HOA boards. Inspectors came, looked around, and shrugged. Everything's fine, they said. We'll close this out. Meredith shifted strategies. The following week, spotted 4 people in matching polos walking the boundary between my ranch and her subdivision. Clipboards raised, pointing at phones like they were processing a crime scene. Their polos read Lakeview Shores Community Compliance Patrol, a volunteer HOA safety team, according to the next-door announcement. The patrol started parking near my driveway, monitoring lake traffic, photographing every visiting license plate, and leaving bright yellow courtesy notices on my gate. Your shoreline does not meet HOA aesthetic standards. Please schedule review. I ignored them. Meredith escalated again. She rolled out a portable radar sign, angled right at my gravel lane, flashing my guests' speeds like they were barreling 55 through a school zone. Moose peed on it out of spite. Then arrived the fake citations. One morning, a laminated envelope was taped to my dock post. Citation: unauthorized nighttime lake use. Fine, $250 payable to Lakeview Shores HOA. Another read: non-conforming dock structure. This dock does not meet the safety and visual standards of Lakeview Shores. Failure to comply will result in further action. Laughed, took photos, and filed them under evidence. Absolutely deranged. Professional habit. The turn from annoying to criminal hit on Memorial Day weekend. My first real gathering since moving in 3 college friends. A grill, beer, kayaks, fishing poles, and 1 Bluetooth speaker at dad volume. We had just come off the lake, sunset turning the water orange. When 2 sus rolled down my gravel drive like they owned a warrant, light bars flashing, sirens giving a sad, half-hearted woo. Their doors opened in practiced unison. 4 people climbed out in tactical khakis, polos, ball caps, and utility belts sagging under radios and flashlights. Each had a plastic nameplate and shiny badge reading Lakeview Shores Community Compliance Patrol, Lake Patrol Division. Meredith stepped out last, sunglasses on, though it was 8 p.m., everyone. Step away from the dock, she commanded, projecting like she was directing cars at a middle school play. This is an active enforcement scene. One of my buddies whispered, Dude, what is happening? Meredith flicked a laminated card toward me. You and your guests are in violation of Lakeview Shores lake use regulations. No amplified sound after 7 p.m., no open containers on docks, and this, she gestured at my dock, is not permitted on Lake Cedaline. It is on my land, I said. And again, not in your HOA. Meredith smiled that brittle smile people wear right before they choose chaos. We warned you, Mr. Bell. You have repeatedly ignored community directives. Under the Lakeview Shores Charter, the Compliance Patrol is authorized to detain and remand non-compliant individuals to law enforcement. 2 volunteers stepped forward, cheap handcuffs dangling. My friend Eli laughed. You cannot be serious. One of the guy's late 40s mall cop energy read from a card. Sir, you are under citizen's arrest for trespassing on HOA-controlled shoreline and creating a public nuisance. He grabbed my wrist. That other habit of mine kicked in. When I'm angry, I get calm. Just so we're clear, I said. You're detaining me on my own land, claiming HOA authority, wearing badges and driving vehicles styled to look like police cruisers. It's called a partnership model, Meredith snapped. You'll understand when the sheriff finishes the paperwork. Turn around. Behind her, I finally saw them clearly. Their SUVs were black Explorers with push bars. Generic light bars bolted on top, and community safety unit decals in a font dangerously close to the actual sheriff's department. Impersonation of law enforcement. A state and federal classic. I let them arrest me. They clicked the cuffs plastic. Loose. Prop quality. Meant for HOA training videos that didn't exist. One volunteer recorded from the sidelines, while another narrated for their group chat. See what happens when you refuse to follow rules? I caught Eli's eye and gave the smallest nod. He slipped around the back of the house, already dialing someone he knew exactly how to reach. Because when you work for DOJ, you sit through a lot of webinars about exactly this brand of lunacy. The sheriff's Tahoe rolled in 10 minutes later. No lights, no theatrics, just the quiet confidence of actual authority. Deputy Ramirez stepped out, hand resting on a real badge at his hip. Meredith turned toward him, triumphant. Deputy, excellent. We've detained this man for you. His dock, his boat, and his noise violations. Whoa, Ramirez said, looking around. Who exactly is we here? She gestured proudly at her crew. Lakeview Shores Community Compliance Patrol. We're official partners. We have a memorandum. He lifted one hand. Ma'am, we have no such thing. Her mouth snapped shut. Ramirez looked at me cuffed in my own yard, calm as a rock. Mr. Bell, you okay? Physically fine, I said. Professionally. Fascinated. He squinted, recognizing me. We'd met once before a noise complaint that ended up being someone else's generator. Nice guy. Liked my dogs. Cut him loose, he ordered one of the faux cops. We're in the middle of an arrest, Meredith protested. For what? He asked. Violating HOA Lakeview's rules, she said. Trespassing on community shoreline. Disturbing the peace. We're authorized to detain non-compliant residents. It's in our bylaws. Ramirez actually laughed. Your bylaws don't trump the Constitution, ma'am. He turned to me. You want to tell me what happened? I rotated my wrists. The plastic cuffs snapped with a soft pop. I handed the pieces to him. They entered my property without permission, I said. Tried to detain me and my guests using fake badges and vehicles designed to look like yours. Claim to be operational partners with your department. Ramirez's expression shifted from amused to professionally alert. Do you have ID on you, sir? Sure do. I pulled my wallet, opened it, handed it over. He read slowly. His eyebrows shot up exactly as expected. Senior Special Agent, he read. United States Department of Justice, Office of Inspector General. A beat of silence. Behind him, one of the fake patrol guys audibly swallowed. Meredith snapped, That's not real. Anyone can print a badge. Look at ours. She shoved her plastic badge wallet forward. Ramirez did not touch it. Instead, he keyed his radio. Dispatch. Run an employment check for a federal ID I'm holding. Name Marcus Daniel Bell. Deutsch Oig. Static, then confirmation. Active credential. Want the duty agent RAM? Not yet, he said, handing my ID back. Thank you, he faced Meredith, tone shifting from county friendly to you have seriously messed up. Okay, he said. Here's where this gets bad for you. Impersonating law enforcement is a crime. Using police-style lights and badges, detaining someone, claiming coordination with us, we're volunteers. She shrieked. The HOA board approved the uniforms. That's not how any of this works, I said mildly. Eli returned, holding his phone up. Just so everyone knows, the whole thing's on video. Also, Marcus's actual agency duty officer is on the line. They'd like to speak to the deputy. Ramirez listened, nodded, then exhaled. Ma'am, sir, everyone in the polos, he said. Place your toy badges, IDs, and radios on the hood, and step over here. You're being detained for impersonating a peace officer, an unlawful detainment. You can't arrest us on our own street. Meredith sputtered. Ramirez pointed at my gravel under their HOA-approved boots. This isn't your street. It's his ranch. And you are very much not in charge. The fallout hit in waves. First wave, local. The county attorney, under strong encouragement from my agency's legal counsel, filed charges. Impersonating law enforcement. Unlawful restraint. Trespassing. Misuse of emergency lighting. The plea deals were ugly. 2 of the volunteer mall marshals folded fast. She told us the sheriff's office was overwhelmed, one said. Said we'd be recognized as partners if we showed initiative. Another admitted she printed the badges herself, and he'd ordered the light bars online and had decals made downtown. The sheriff's office released a statement. We have no partnership with any private HOA patrol and strongly discourage residents from attempting to enforce laws they do not understand. Second wave. Civil. I sued Lakeview Shores, HOA, individual board members, and the 4 compliance officers. Counts: trespass, false imprisonment, intentional infliction of emotional distress, defamation from their next-door posts calling my place a rogue illegal marina. During discovery, my lawyer got HOA minutes referring to the patrol as our paramilitary arm. Emails where Meredith wrote, "If we act like cops long enough, the county will have to treat us like them." In a draft mutual aid agreement she cobbled together in Word with the sheriff's logo crudely pasted in the header. When the HOA's insurer saw the footage and documents, they tried to bail, arguing impersonation and unlawful detention weren't covered. The judge agreed. "Your policy does not cover intentional criminal acts," he said. "Your board chose this path. You get to walk it alone." Third wave. Federal. Technically, I was supposed to stay out. Personal conflict. I didn't open an investigation. Didn't need to. But impersonating law enforcement while detaining a federal agent tends to get attention. The U.S. Attorney's Office took interest. So did a couple of inspectors general whose logos had been copy-pasted into Meredith's imaginary memoranda. In the end, the feds didn't need to do much. The state charges and civil suits were plenty. But a strongly worded letter went out to every HOA within 3 counties. Any use of law enforcement-style uniforms, badges, vehicles, or titles by private associations may constitute impersonation and will be prosecuted. A month later in civil court, the judge ruled thoroughly. Lakeview Shores and its board owed me high 6 figures in damages, attorney's fees, and a court-awarded apology printed in the local paper and on the HOA website for 12 months. And for good measure, he added, the HOA is permanently banned from forming any patrol, task force, or group using badges, uniforms, or vehicles that mimic law enforcement. Meredith lost her presidency, then her board seat, then several nights of sleep. The HOA nearly went bankrupt, paying the judgment. She took a plea to avoid jail. Completed community service, picking up trash in an orange vest that said volunteer, was barred from any HOA board in the county for 10 years. When the gavel fell and the judge read the final order, Meredith stood frozen at the defense table, pale hands gripping the edge like it was the only thing keeping her upright. Her attorney touched her elbow, but she didn't move,